I'm Sean Coughlin, and I'm the president at The Ideal Life. The Ideal Life is a platform that connects people and organizations to coaches to help those people and organizations grow personally and professionally. To me, an ideal leader is someone who is passionate about people and about process and about performance, probably in that order. I think that what makes a successful leader is someone who is prepared for the mission that they have in front of them, and who sticks to a process that they believe in and who does everything they can to build into their team to get the best results possible, but knows that those results are ultimately not up to them. I think a leader has to be able to build trust. And I think a leader builds trust by leading by example and by holding themselves to a higher standard. There's this idea of being above reproach, and that's a pretty lofty idea. But I think that the old idea of leading by example is a powerful one. And I think that people trust leaders who are trustworthy people who have a lot of integrity. My wife is a teacher and has helped me learn how to teach instead of tell. I can be a very directive leader, which I think is important. I think you have to be decisive. But I think coming alongside someone and really putting yourself in their shoes, like if I were in your seat, this is how I would handle this, or this is how I've handled this before. And really speaking from past experience, people don't care as much about what you think as where you've been and what you've done. And telling stories and sharing stories with the people that you are leading, I think can be really powerful. I think empathy is extremely important for a leader. I think that relates to the difference between coaching and managing. I think that managing is inherently reactive, right? So you're managing situations as they arise. You could even be an empathetic leader who is managing situations as they arise, which is better than an unempathetic leader who's managing situations as they arise. But I think what's really cool about our Ideal Leader product is that it operationalizes empathy. It really helps people to deeply, meaningfully understand their teams and their individuals within their teams so they can be proactively empathetic and motivate people based on their core values. So I have a team of leaders that I lead and manage and coach. And some of them are very motivated by risk and by competition. And others are very motivated by security and stability. And so when I'm trying to help those people go from good to great, those are very different conversations. One isn't better or worse than the other. They're just different. And so I think a world-class leader, an ideal leader, learns and knows how to negotiate those differences. I think something that's important about motivating a team is being able to tell a story, to be able to connect where the team's been to where they are to where they're going. So experience helps with that, but it's also belief, you know? I think an ideal leader, a world-class leader, has to have a deep belief both in his team and in the mission. And I think that belief is contagious. And that's sort of where the importance of coaching for that leader comes in because day to day, sometimes that belief will ebb and flow, but you've got to be able to transmit that to your team. And you have to be not perfect and not robotic or superhuman, but you have to be consistent and steady. I think those are other attributes that a world class leader is: consistent, steady, calm, sober minded. And so for me as a leader, having a coach is so crucial because they can help me negotiate my own psychology, my own personal development so I can show up for my team. I think as a leader, what helps me to keep my own motivation is a deep understanding of my own core values, making sure that those core values are aligned with what I'm doing day to day, and the mission that I'm on. And I think for me, a core value is service. Am I being of service to my team and the world through the work that I'm doing? If the answer is yes, then let's show up tomorrow. Let's go. You know, if the answer is no, then I probably need to find another job. That's something that's really helped me throughout my career. Is just sort of anchoring on that service idea. That's something that's really important to me. And so the impact that we're having, I think, is evident day to day. And it's something I'm super enthusiastic to get to help lead. I think coaching and mentorship has made a massive impact in my life. At like different intervals and different transition points in my life, I feel like it's almost been heaven sent. Like someone has sort of swooped in and said, "Hey, man, you don't have to do this by yourself." I think the biggest way it's impacted me, sort of broadly, is when you're fearful or anxious about something, you think that you're the first person who's ever experienced this in the history of the world, but that's always not true. Like you didn't invent anything, so many people have been through exactly what you're going through. And somebody who's been a little further up the mountain than you are can kind of come back down to what elevation you're at and say, "Hey man, like you're gonna get to where you're going, and it's fine. And there's a straightforward solution to this problem." And that's helped me to become a better leader and a better problem solver. But sometimes you really need that person to sort of say, "This isn't that big of a deal," and there's a way out and a way up. And that's, I think, a huge value of mentorship that I've had. At the Ideal Life, we are passionate about coaching the whole person because when you come to work, you bring your whole self to work. And we know that a flourishing, healthy, happy person is more likely to crush it for the business and for the organization. In the context of leadership development, I feel like that whole person approach is even more important, if that's possible. It's easy to look at the news and see these like massive like leadership failures. And it's usually because the leader has like over indexed in some life role, is the word that we would use here at the Ideal Life. They are 10 out of 10 or 20 out of 10 in terms of like work performance, but their home life is struggling or their health is a wreck. And so for myself, I really believe that the whole person approach to coaching and the whole person approach to life is really the only way to go. I believe in the power of deliberate practice because I think that it helps me to accomplish things that seem impossible. It's really easy for me to get overwhelmed by a big goal. But if you break that goal down into a repeatable, controllable, daily practice and you make baby steps, then eventually you get to the top of the mountain, right? A climb up a mountain is just a collection of steps, right? If when I started surfing, you'd said, "Oh, you'll surf some of the most heavy world-class waves in the world," I would have said, "That sounds terrifying, and I won't be doing that," right? If when I started my first company, you'd said, "You're going to serve millions and millions, tens of millions of people, and make this massive impact," I would have said, like, "We don't have a website." Big goals are motivating, but they can also be really overwhelming, especially when you're just a guy in a kitchen with a laptop, you know, or somebody who hasn't gone for a run in 5 years and you just bought your first pair of running shoes in 5 years and you want to run a marathon. I think deliberate practice is that secret sauce that helps us to go to places that seem impossible, but it sort of allows and empowers us to ask, like, why not? Why not me? Somebody else could do it. I could do it, but that's sort of the secret sauce. That's sort of the magic. We believe that coaching people is more effective than managing them. Organizations that focus on the whole person achieve superior results. If you're an emerging leader, I would say that leadership is a responsibility. And so you have a responsibility to invest in yourself, invest in your personal development. While I do believe that leadership is a gift, I also think it is a practice that can be honed and coached and built into. And I think it's so important. When I was a young leader or maybe an aspiring leader, I really sought leadership positions. I think I sought them for the wrong reasons. And as I've developed as a person, I think I have grown into leadership positions, and I'm at a point where people seek me for leadership positions. And I think I'm qualified and I'm ready for those, but I also feel the weight of it. And I think there's a real weight to leadership. And I think that that's what I mean when I say leadership should be taken seriously. And it's something that there's a real opportunity cost if you are a gifted leader who isn't investing in your own flourishing or your own development. because I think you're going to burn out and hurt people. And even if you have temporary or short-term success, it's not going to be sustainable. So that's what I would say to a new or emerging leader is like you have to feel the weight of it and invest in yourself. The Ideal Leader is a leadership development program that combines world-class coaching with our unique whole person coaching approach and deep investment in the leader and their team. The Ideal Leader pairs you with a world-class leadership coach uniquely tailored to your particular leadership challenges and personality and industry. They take you through a 3-step process where they, step 1, deeply get to know you, what you're all about, and where you want to go. Step 2, guide you through 13 weeks of one-on-one coaching where they address your top leadership challenges and in a really cool way actually track your progress week to week, both qualitatively and quantitatively. And then step 3, they review your progress, set hopefully new goals, and continue working with you. There's so many benefits to the Ideal Leader program. You'll get a world-class coach who will help you with your top leadership challenges, who will guide you both personally and professionally more deeply, understand your team, what makes them tick, what do they want, where are they going, how do you motivate them to go from good to great, to tackle the challenges and climb the mountains that you need them to climb to get where you're all trying to go. And you'll really start to become a high-level, excellent coach yourself. We believe that managing is dead and coaching is the future. And so you will equip yourself with the leadership toolkit that you need to tackle these new challenges that you have ahead. One thing I believe, and has been true in my career, is that what got me where I am is not what I need to get me where I'm going. And so you need new tools to tackle new challenges, and you'll get those tools and more with the Ideal Leader. The Ideal Leader is for any leader who is facing a big leadership challenge. You could be a world-class CEO, you could be a mid-level leader, you could be a new emerging leader. If you are a leader who wants some help, we'd love to talk.